ले उहाँको अगाडि बढाएको छ। त्यो निष्ठाको यात्रा वास्तवमा अत्यन्त कठिन यात्रा हो। निष्ठाप्रति समर्पण, प्रतिबद्धता र त्यस्तो प्रतिबद्धतामा आउने कुनै पनि अप्ठ्याराहरू, कुनै पनि चुनौतीहरू, कुनै पनि सङ्घर्षहरूलाई चाहिँ नि नियन्त्रण गर्दै त्योसँग जुधेर अगाडि बढ्ने भने एउटा अत्यन्त कठिन यात्रा नै हो। त्यो यात्रामा उहाँले नेपाली कांग्रेसको नेताको रूपबाट त्यहाँको 5 स्तरको प्रतिनिधि, गृह राज्य मन्त्री लगायतका विभिन्न क्षेत्रमा लोकतान्त्रिक आन्दोलनमा निरन्तर रूपबाट विद्यार्थी आन्दोलनदेखि लोकतान्त्रिक आन्दोलनसम्म उहाँले गर्नुभएका योगदानको पक्ष एउटा छ भने उहाँको कञ्चनजङ्घा टी स्टेट अहिले पनि राष्ट्रिय मात्र होइन अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय स्तरमा एउटा प्रभावकारी रूपबाट परिचित संस्था र त्यसको माग देखिएका कुराहरू पनि सुन्नमा आएको छ भने त्यहाँ सहकारी आन्दोलनलाई एउटा प्रवर्धन गर्ने जिल्लामा पनि र राष्ट्रिय सहकारी आन्दोलनको पहिलो नेतृत्व गर्ने व्यक्तिको रूपमा उहाँ यहाँ खडा हुनुहुन्छ। वास्तवमा नेपाली कांग्रेसको समाजवादी चिन्तन जुन हो, त्यो समाजवादी चिन्तनको मूल आधार भनेकै सहकारीका पहिला अधिष्ठाता, पहिला निर्माता बखान सिंह गुरुङ हुनुहुन्थ्यो। उहाँले 2012 सालमा सहकारीको चितवनमा स्थापना गर्नुभयो र इजरायलको किबुज र किमुन प्रथाबाट कसरी आर्थिक विषमतालाई हटाएर समानतालाई को नजिक ल्याउन सकिन्छ भन्ने दृष्टिकोणले निरन्तर रूपबाट कांग्रेसले चाहिँ नि त्यसको अध्ययन गर्ने र त्यसलाई लागू गर्ने कोसिस गर्यो। त्यसको प्रथम चरणमा स्वयं दीपकजीले सहकारी आन्दोलनलाई सशक्त रूपबाट अगाडि बढाउने कोसिस गर्नुभयो। तर सहकारी आन्दोलनलाई हामी जति सशक्त रूपले अगाडि बढाउन सक्नुपर्थ्यो र जुन ढङ्गले त्यो लोकतान्त्रिक पद्धति र त्यसले सोचेका भावधारामा अगाडि बढाउनु पर्थ्यो त्यो हामी सकेका छैनौँ। अहिले पनि सहकारी झन्डै 32-35 हजार सहकारीहरूमध्ये हामीले खोज्यो भने 10,000 मात्रै पाउन सकिन्छौँ। सबै अर्कोतिर कब्जामा परेको स्थिति मेरो चाहिँ अनुभव छ। तर त्यसको बावजुद पनि यी समग्र रूपबाट यो आन्दोलनलाई अगाडि बढाउनको निम्ति निष्ठाको यात्रा नामक उहाँको आफ्नो जीवनले भोगेका अतीतका आफ्ना सङ्घर्षका कथाहरू जसरी लेख्नु भएको छ त्यसले निश्चित रूपबाट एउटा प्रेरणा दिन्छ भन्ने कुरा मलाई विश्वास छ। जतिसुकै मिठो पकाउँदाखेरि पनि, जतिसुकै राम्रो खाना दिँदा पनि पस्किने कला भएन भने त्यसलाई राम्रो मान्दैन। त्यस कारण यहाँभित्र जे जति उहाँले लेख्नु भएको छ त्यो त लेख्नु भएको छ, तर यो किताब जसरी प्रस्तुति गरेछ यसको सजावट र प्रस्तुतिकरण पनि त्यत्तिकै राम्रो छ। हुन त यो तपाईँको आत्मवृत्तान्त भनौँ, अब यो निष्ठाको यात्रा पनि उहाँको आत्मवृत्तान्तै हो। यो आत्मवृत्तान्त लेख्ने कुरा चाहिँ अत्यन्त कठिन र कटु पनि हो। व्यक्तिगत जीवनका कुरा, सामाजिक जीवनका कुरा, पारिवारिक जीवनका कुरा, त्यसलाई निर्मम मीमांसा गरेर कटु सत्यलाई चाहिँ नि पत्ता लाएर यथार्थता परक पनि हुनुपर्ने र अर्कोतिर चाहिँ नि त्यसभित्र कति भन्न सकिने कति भन्न नसकिने कुराहरू पनि अत्यन्त तौलिनुपर्ने स्थिति हुन्छ र यो गाह्रो हुन्छ। तर त्यसको बावजुद पनि उहाँले आफ्ना यात्राको संस्मरणलाई जसरी लिनुभएको छ म उहाँलाई हार्दिक रूपबाट बधाई दिन चाहन्छु। किनभने मान्छेको जीवन एउटा सङ्घर्ष हो, एउटा चुनौती हो, एउटा अप्ठ्यारो हो। र यो सङ्घर्ष, चुनौती र अप्ठ्यारोको यात्रामा हामीले कहिले पनि कसैले थकाएर नथाक्ने, कसैले भगाएर नभाग्ने, आफ्नो कर्तव्यमा नचुक्ने र कुनै पनि किसिमको अन्यायसँग नचुक्ने प्रवृत्तिबाटै वास्तवमा लोकतान्त्रिक पद्धतिलाई हामी सारांशमा एउटा गति दिन सक्छौँ। त्यो गति निर्माण गर्ने प्रक्रियामा यस्ता साथीहरूले जो आफ्ना अभिव्यक्ति र जीवनका यात्राका स्मरणहरू लेखेका छन् त्यसले केही निश्चित रूपबाट प्रेरणा देला। अहिले जसरी मैले उहाँलाई भने कि उहाँको त्रिपक्षीय मात्रै होइन चतुर्पक्षीय व्यक्तित्व चाहिँ नि, चाहे राजनीतिक निष्ठाका कुरा भनौँ, चाहे यो कृषि उद्यमी र सहकारी ग्रामीण स्तरमा निर्माणका कुरा भनौँ, या राष्ट्रिय सहकारी आन्दोलनको कुरा भनौँ, अथवा त्यसपछि आएर पछिल्लो चरणमा वैदिक फाउन्डेसनको एउटा आध्यात्मिक चेतनाको अभिवृद्धिको यात्रा भनौँ, यो विभिन्न यात्रामा चतुष्पक्षीय व्यक्तित्व उहाँले अहिले जुन यात्रामा आफूलाई हामीलाई स्मरण गराउनु भएको छ। अहिले देश त्यस्तै किसिमका बहुपक्षीय बहुआयामिक चुनौतीको कालखण्डमा हामी उभिएका छौँ। हामी वास्तवमा एकातिर अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय द्वन्द्वको चपेटामा द्वन्द्वको केन्द्रबिन्दुको रूपमा विकसित भइरहेका छौँ, अर्कोतिर विदेशी ऋणका भारी बोकेर हिँडिरहेका छौँ, अर्कोतिर भ्रष्टाचारको महामारीमा फस्दै गएका छौँ र हामी आफू केन्द्रित जो जहाँ छ त्यसले आफैलाई केन्द्रित भएर सोच्ने प्रवृत्तिबाट देशको लोकतन्त्रका आधारभूत सिद्धान्त चरित्र र नैतिकतामाथि दिन प्रतिदिन ह्रास भएर जाने र दिन प्रतिदिन चाहिँ नि एउटा अराजकतावादी स्थितितिर देश उन्मुख हुने जुन अवस्था छ, त्यो अवस्थाको विरुद्धको सङ्कल्प चाहिँ नि वास्तवमा यो अठोट कि हामी हाम्रो यात्रामा अगाडि छौँ, हाम्रो यात्रामा हामी निडर निर्भीक छौँ, हामी आफ्नो निष्ठा र लक्ष्यप्रति प्रतिबद्ध छौँ। त्यस्तो निष्ठा र लक्ष्यको प्रतिबद्धतामा आउने हरेक चुनौतीलाई सामना गर्न सक्छौँ भन्ने दृढता आज प्रत्येक साथीहरूको बिचमा हुनुपर्ने आवश्यकता छ। लास्टमा उहाँले यो नेपालको यो वैदिक नेपालको भविष्यको सम्बन्धमा जोड्नु भएको छ। मैले किताबकै सम्बन्धमा मात्रै भनेको थिएँ। एउटा कुरा के छ भनेदेखि म थोरै यसमा अलिकति मात्रै भन्छु। द्वन्द्वात्मक भौतिकवाददेखि लिएर वर्ग सङ्घर्षको आधारमा समानता र सबैलाई समान दृष्टिकोणले समतामूलक समाज सिर्जना गर्छु भन्नेहरूले जुन रक्तपातपूर्ण स्थिति दिए विश्वको इतिहासमा सिर्जना गरे, चाहे त्यो रसियन जारको विरुद्धको रिभोल्युसनमै भन्नुहोस्, चाहे चाइनाका रिभोल्युसनमा भन्नुहोस्, लाखौँ लाख मान्छे र रक्तपातपूर्ण स्थितिबाट जुन परिवर्तन ल्याउनु खोजियो, त्यो भन्दा पनि बढ्दा त्यो वैदिक सनातन धर्म जो हामीमाथि विश्वास गर्छौँ, हुन त म सर्वधर्म समभावमा विश्वास गर्छु। म निरन्तर रूपबाट भन्छु राजनीतिमा धर्म हुनुपर्छ। राजनीतिमा धर्म भयो भने विवेक हुन्छ, सद्भावना हुन्छ, न्याय हुन्छ, सदाचार हुन्छ। तर धर्मैमा राजनीति हुनुहुन्न। त्यसमा सर्वधर्म समभाव नै मेरो आफ्नो दृष्टिकोण हो। त्यसको बावजुद पनि हाम्रो वैदिक सनातन धर्म जुन छ, यो अहिले देखिएका संसारका कुनै पनि दर्शनभन्दा, गीतामा हामी पढ्छौँ विद्या विनय सम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनी सुनिश्चय स्वभागे छ पण्डित समुदर्शन। हाम्रो त दर्शनै के छ भने हरेक व्यक्ति, हरेक प्राणी मात्र, प्राणी आत्मवत् सर्वभूतेषु, हरेक प्राणीमा ईश्वरको वास हुन्छ। त्यो आत्मा र परमात्माको संयोजन र हरेकमा त्यो देख्ने र त्यसमाथि सद्भावना, मित्रता, भ्रातृवत व्यवहार नै हाम्रो वैदिक परम्परा र वैदिक धर्मको। त्यसलाई हामीले व्यवहारमा उतार्न सकेनौँ। कहाँनिर कमी छ त्यसलाई खोज्नुपर्ने आवश्यकता छ। होइन भने यी संसारभरि भएका चाहिँ ठुल्ठुला आदर्श नारा भन्दा हाम्रो वैदिक परम्पराबाटै समाजवाद र न्यायपूर्ण समाज स्थापना गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने कुरामा म चाहिँ पूर्ण विश्वस्त मान्छे हो। मेरो त्यो विश्वासमा कहीँ डरभङ्गा छैन। तर त्यसलाई व्यावहारिक रूपमा हामी कसरी प्रमाणित गर्न सक्छौँ, व्यवहारमा परिणत गर्नु। हामीले सैद्धान्तिक रूपबाट धार्मिक अथवा चाहिँ परम्परागत दृष्टिकोणले त्यसलाई रटेर त्यसैबाट मात्रै हामी सीमित हुने भन्दा अहिले विश्वका ठुल्ठुला वैज्ञानिकहरूले, जर्मनदेखि लिएर विश्वका ठुल्ठुला वैज्ञानिकहरूले हाम्रा वेदहरूबाट ठुल्ठुला आधुनिक रिसर्चहरू गरेका छन्। त्यसलाई कसरी हामी आधुनिकीकरण गर्दै हाम्रो वैदिक सनातन धर्म र वैदिक भविष्यलाई सुरक्षित गर्न सक्छौँ, त्यसमा पनि दिपकजी लाग्नु भएको छ। दिपकको महर्षि वैदिक फाउन्डेसनले उपयोगी काम गर्ला। त्यस्तै विभिन्न संस्थाहरू छन्। त्यसका ती विभिन्न संस्थाहरूलाई परिचालन गर्दै न्याय, सद्भावना, प्रेम र समानताको यात्रामा हाम्रो दर्शन जति प्रभावकारी छ, त्यो प्रभावकारितालाई अझै व्यवहारमा रूपान्तरण गर्नुपर्ने आवश्यकता छ। म फेरि पनि धेरै लामो कुरा भन्ने भन्दा मेरा प्रिय मित्र, अत्यन्त पुरानो मित्र, मैले भने नि 52 वर्ष लगातार त्यही रूपबाट रहने सद्भावना र यात्रा चाहिँ नि उहाँले मलाई मेसेन्जरमा पठाउनु भयो, मैले जवाफ दिइनँ। त्यसपछि फेरि फोन गरेर भन्नुभयो क्यारे, अनि मैले प्रमुख अतिथि को आउँछ भनेर सोधेँ। अनि केबी दाईको नाम दिनुभयो। मैले भने हुन्छ म आउँछु भने। त्यसपछि हिजो बिहान आफै पुग्नुभयो। अनि मलाई लाग्यो उहाँको यो यात्रा जो निरन्तर चलेको छ, जो अठोट र दृढता साथ चलेको छ, त्यो यात्राले अझ पूर्णता पाओस्, योभन्दा अझ राम्रा किताबहरू उहाँबाट फेरि पछि आउन्। मेरो हार्दिक शुभकामना छ। म यसका आयोजक सबै सम्पूर्ण साथीहरूलाई हार्दिक रूपबाट धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु। वास्तवमा म बिदाई हुँदाहुँदै केन्द्रीय कार्य समितिको मिटिङ एकचोटि पुगेँ, त्यसपछि अहिले पनि 1 हप्ता बाँकी नै छ मेरो डाक्टरले दिएको रेस्ट पिरियड, 17 गते पुग्छ। तैपनि यो कार्यक्रममा म दोस्रो चोटि आएँ। त्यस कारण मभन्दा पछाडि वरिष्ठ साथीहरू धेरै हुनुहुन्छ, विद्वान साथीहरू हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँहरूको कुरा पनि सुन्ने मेरो इच्छा हो। तपाईँहरूसँग भेटघाट गर्ने मेरो इच्छा हो, किनभने यस्तो कार्यक्रममा सबभन्दा ठुलो उपलब्धि भने तपाईँहरू जस्ता साथीहरू, छरिएका साथीहरूसँग भेट्ने, छेम कुशल सोध्ने, त्यो पनि एउटा रहर हो। तर आज तपाईँहरू सबैको अनुमति लिएर एउटा संसदीय परम्परामा के भनिन्छ भने आफूले बोल्न साथ नहिँड्नु अशिष्ट हुन्छ र बोलेपछि हिँड्नै पऱ्यो भने एकजना सुनेर मात्रै हिँड्नु भन्ने जुन संसदीय परम्परा र अभ्यास छ। म आज चाहिँ सभापतिजी, प्रमुख अतिथि, यो मञ्चमा भएका सबै साथीहरू, तपाईँहरू सम्पूर्ण दिदीबहिनीहरू, म बोली पनि सक्छु, हिँड्छु र अशिष्ट हुने अनुमति चाहन्छु। धन्यवाद। जय हिन्द।
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद हाम्रो विशिष्ट अतिथिज्यू अर्जुन नरसिंह केसीज्यूलाई। र उहाँ हामी माझबाट बिदा पनि हुन चाहनुहुन्छ। र म यस कार्यक्रमलाई अब अगाडि नै बढाउन चाहन्छु र कार्यक्रमलाई अगाडि बढाउने क्रममा उहाँले एउटा कुरा एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण भनेर गइदिनु भएको छ। बीपीको समाजवादको कुरा गर्छौँ र सही मानेमा बीपीको समाजवाद हामीले यदि सहकारी आन्दोलनलाई सही मानेमा बुझेर त्यसलाई हामीले काम गर्न सकेका भए त्यो समाजवाद त्यतिखेर प्राप्त हुने रहेछ भन्ने लाग्छ। र अझै पनि हामीले त्यता उन्मुख, समाजवाद उन्मुख जुन बीपीले सोच्नु भएको थियो, त्यो समाजवाद उन्मुख ती नागरिकका लागि काम गर्न धेरै नै बाँकी छ भन्ने हो। र आजको कार्यक्रमलाई अगाडि बढाउनको लागि अब म आजका कृति नायक डाक्टर दीपक प्रकाश बास्कोटालाई आजको विषय तथा यस बारेमा थप सन्दर्भसहित आफ्नो प्रस्तुति गरिदिनु हुन कृति नायक, पूर्व गृह राज्य मन्त्री एवं महर्षि वैदिक फाउन्डेसनका अध्यक्ष डाक्टर दीपक प्रकाश बास्कोटाज्यूलाई ड्यासमा निम्ताउन चाहन्छु।
आदरणीय आज यो समारोहका सभापति, पूर्व उपकुलपति नेपाल संस्कृत विश्वविद्यालय कुलप्रसाद कोइरालाज्यू, प्रमुख अतिथि परम आदरणीय के विदाई भन्ने बानी लागेको छ, नेपाली कांग्रेसको पूर्व महामन्त्री, पूर्व मन्त्री आदरणीय के विदाई, यो समारोहमा हाम्रो आतिथ्यता स्वीकार गरी पाल्नुभएका नेपाली कांग्रेसका नेता डाक्टर शेखर कोइरालाज्यू, नेपाली कांग्रेसकै सहमहामन्त्री महालक्ष्मी डिना उपाध्याय, केन्द्रीय सदस्य के नाम पनि बिर्सेँ मैले, ईश्वरी नेउपानेज्यू, आजका यो प्रतिक्रियाको लागि आमन्त्रण गरिएका नेपाली सहकारी आन्दोलनका शीर्षस्थ निकाय राष्ट्रिय सहकारी महासङ्घका अध्यक्ष मिनराज कणेलज्यू, डाक्टर कुमार कोइरालाज्यू, मेरो अनन्य मित्र विश्व हिन्दू महासङ्घका अध्यक्ष तथा पूर्व मन्त्री रामचन्द्र अधिकारीज्यू, यहाँ यो पुस्तक तयारी गर्नको लागि लेखन प्रकाशन डिजाइनमा सहयोग गर्ने मित्रहरू विवश बस्तीजी, विनोद कुलुङजी, भरत पौडेलजी लगायत आज यो समारोहमा पाल्नुभएका धेरै मित्रहरू जो हामीले आसन ग्रहण गराउन सकेनौँ होला, सम्बोधन गर्न सकेनौँ होला। धेरै क्षेत्रबाट प्रतिनिधित्व गर्नुभएको छ र धेरै क्षेत्रबाट हामीले आमन्त्रण गरेको छ। हाम्रो आमन्त्रणलाई स्वीकार गरी पाल्नुहुने धेरै साथीहरू यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ, राजनीतिक क्षेत्रका साथीहरू हुनुहुन्छ, अनि हाम्रो किराँत धर्म साहित्य उत्थान सङ्घका केन्द्रीय सदस्य कार्यजी डकेन्द्र थेगिमजी हुनुहुन्छ। त्यस्तै यो फाउन्डेसनको हाम्रो सञ्चालकै हुनुहुन्छ किराँत धर्म उत्थान साहित्य उत्थान सङ्घको संस्थापक अध्यक्ष डाक्टर चन्द्रकुमार शर्माजी। हाम्रो पूर्व राजदूतलाई पनि म यहाँ देखिराखेको छु। त्यस्तै राष्ट्रिय शिक्षक सङ्घ, राष्ट्रिय शिक्षक महासङ्घका अध्यक्षजीहरू हुनुहुन्छ, सङ्गठनका अध्यक्षजीहरू हुनुहुन्छ, विभिन्न विश्वविद्यालयका प्राध्यापकजीहरू हुनुहुन्छ, सेना प्रहरी तथा निजामती कर्मचारीका विभिन्न माथिल्लो तहका रिटायर अधिकारीहरू हुनुहुन्छ, सेवानिवृत्त अधिकारीजीहरू हुनुहुन्छ, विभिन्न क्षेत्रका राजनीतिक मित्रहरू हुनुहुन्छ, सहकारी क्षेत्रका विभिन्न तहका अधिकारी अध्यक्ष तथा सञ्चालक साथीहरू हुनुहुन्छ, अनि कृषि विशेषज्ञहरू हुनुहुन्छ। यो अहिले नयाँ गठन भएको हाम्रो यो भर्खर निर्यात व्यवसायी महासङ्घ छ, त्यसका पदाधिकारीहरू हुनुहुन्छ। र त्यस्तै गरेर मेरो एकजना साथी यहाँ देखिराखेको छु, 46 सालको जनआन्दोलनमा मसँगै फिल्मको जेलमा बस्ने भवानी खतिवडाजी पनि हुनुहुन्छ, र पाँचथरका धेरै मित्रहरू यहाँहरू हुनुहुन्छ, र देशभरिका सबै मित्रहरू जसलाई हामीले पायौँ। म सबैको नाम लिन सकिनँ, तर अत्यन्तै प्रिय मित्र साथीहरू हुनुहुन्छ जो हामीले आत्मीयताका साथ निमन्त्रणा गऱ्यौँ। हाम्रो निमन्त्रणालाई स्वीकार गरेर पाल्नु भएको हुनाले म सबैलाई एकमुष्ट हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनन्दन गर्न चाहन्छु र यथास्थानमा आसन ग्रहणको लागि पनि हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। र मैले बोल्ने कुरा केही छैन, आज मैले लेख्ने कुरा लेखेँ र मेरो 4वटा विधा अघि मेनराज कणेलजीले भन्नुभयो, त्यो 4वटा विधामा जति काम गरेँ मैले निष्ठाका साथ गरेँ। त्यसै हुनाले यो किताबको नामकरण निष्ठाको यात्रा भनेको यो सकिएको छैन। निष्ठाको यात्राबाट आज आइपुग्दासम्मको कुराहरू यहाँ छ। अब भोलि यो यात्रामा लाग्दै जाँदाखेरि सफलता हासिल गर्न सजिलो हुने रहेछ, किनभने कुनै पनि मान्छेले सफलता हासिल गर्नको लागि अङ्ग्रेजीमा पनि एउटा भनाइ छ, झन्डै मिल्छ यसलाई, रोलिङ स्टोन ग्यादर न मोस भने जस्तै निष्ठालाई ब्रेक गर्यो भने त्यसले एउटा चाहिँ स्थायित्व ग्रहण गर्न सक्दो रहन्छ। त्यसकारण मेरा दुईवटा आफ्नै उदाहरणहरू छन्। यस किताबमा भनिएको छ, डाक्टर कुमार कोइरालाले प्रष्ट बताउनु भएको छ। अब बाँकी रहेको आध्यात्मिक यात्राको बारे आजको अध्यक्षजीले नै भरे बताउनु हुनेछ। र त्यो निष्ठाको यात्राले मलाई मात्रै होइन, मैले त्यहाँ अलिकति लेखेको छु कि लास्टमा एउटा सेन्टेन्स लेखेको छु मैले, यसबाट यो पुस्तक यो चाहिँ नि प्रकाशकले राखिदिएको मेरो भनाइमा उहाँलाई मन परेछ र यो राखिदिनु भएको छ। यो पुस्तकमा मेरो जीवनमा करिब अर्धशतकीय कर्म विवरणहरू झल्किनुका साथै कर्मशील जीवन यात्रामा बेहोरेका अनेक बाधा व्यवधानलाई संक्षिप्त रूपमा उतारेको छु। पाठकहरूले के पाउलान् यो पुस्तक पढेर? यस्तो मौलिक प्रश्न उठ्न सक्ला, मैले प्रश्न गरेको छु, सक्ला, तर जीवनमा कुनै पनि विषय वा क्षेत्रमा प्रतिबद्ध ढङ्गले लागेर काम गर्ने हो भने असम्भव भन्ने केही पनि नहुने रहेछ। नेपोलियनले त्यत्तिकै भनेका होइन रहेछन्। मेरो शब्दकोशमा असम्भव भन्ने शब्द नै छैन। यो कुरा मेरो जीवन यात्रामा का अनुभूति र अनुभवमा पनि प्रमाणित हुन पुगेको छ। तिनै कुरा म पाठक सामु समर्पण गर्न चाहन्छु भनेर मैले पछाडिपट्टि लेखेको छु। र अनि मैले यो किताब आज चाहिँ अघि उद्घोष चाहिँ स्वागत मन्तव्यमा भरतजीले पनि भन्नुभयो, यति कुरा भरे आजको अध्यक्षजीले विश्लेषण गर्नुहोला। मैले यो किताब चाहिँ नि खास गरी कि हार्दिक समर्पण भनेर गिरिजाप्रसाद कोइराला जसलाई समर्पण गरे। हुन त यहाँ सबै विषय छन्, तर यस विषयमा खास गरी राजनीति र सहकारीको विषय धेरै छ। अनि अहिले उत्तरार्धमा मेरो चाहिँ नि अध्यात्मतिर मार्ग प्रशस्त भएको छ र त्यसको बारे यस पछाडि लगत्तै एउटा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय डिरेक्टरले प्रस्तुत गर्नुहुने कुरा यहाँले सुन्नुभयो भने त्यो मार्गको बारे जानकारी हुनेछ र मेरो धेरै सङ्गत राजनीतिमा पनि गिरिजाबाबुसँग भयो र उहाँले मेरो संरक्षकत्व पनि लिनुभयो। त्यसकारणले मेरो यो पहिलो किताब भने हुन्छ, यो किताब मैले उहाँलाई समर्पण गरेको हुनाले पनि मैले चाहिँ नि आज के अरे चाहिँ यो यसको सभापतित्व गरिदिनको निमित्त डाक्टर शशाङ्क कोइरालालाई बोलाएको थिएँ। उहाँले हुन्छ भन्नुभएको थियो अध्यक्षताको लागि, कारणले आउन नसकेको भन्ने खबर आएको हुनाले मैले के अरे चाहिँ पूर्वको कुलपति के अरे चाहिँ कोइरालाजीलाई यसको चाहिँ नि अध्यक्षताको लागि आग्रह गरेँ। उहाँले स्वीकार गर्नुभएको छ र मैले यादभरि लाग्नु भएको छ र डाक्टर किङ्सली ब्रुक एसियाका 8वटा देश हेर्नुहुन्छ नेपाल सहित र उहाँ चाहिँ नि महर्षि महेश योगीको इन्टरनेसनल डिरेक्टरको रूपमा उहाँ र उहाँको श्रीमती लेस्ली ग्रुप हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँहरूले नेपालमा बसेर एसियाका 8वटा देशहरू हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँले वैदिक नेपालको भविष्यबारे के हो, वाट इज दिस, त्यो चाहिँ अब यस पछाडि लगत्तै उहाँले प्रेजेन्टेसन गर्नुहुनेछ। के अरे चाहिँ त्यसलाई राम्रोसँग ध्यानपूर्वक सुन्नुहोला। अब हामीलाई ट्रान्सलेसन गर्ने समय पुग्दैन मलाई लाग्छ। उपस्थित सबै मित्रहरूले अङ्ग्रेजी सबैले बुझ्नुहुन्छ, नबुझ्नेले भावार्थ थाहा पाउनुहुन्छ। उहाँले छोटकरीमा आफ्नो प्रेजेन्टेसन गर्नुहुन्छ र यसलाई विस्तृत व्याख्या चाहिँ 3 वर्ष अगाडि हामीले यही हलमा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सम्मेलन गरेर पनि बुझाएका थियौँ। अब फेरि यसलाई समय परिस्थिति आएपछि त्यसलाई बुझाउने क्रम पनि हामी जारी राख्नेछौँ। आज उहाँले त्यो जानकारी गर्नुहुनेछ। आज महर्षि इन्टरनेसनल युनिभर्सिटी भने अमेरिकाको आयोवा स्टेटमा छ, फेयरफिल्ड सिटीमा। त्यो युनिभर्सिटी 50 वर्षको चाहिँ नि के अरे सेलिब्रेसन मनाइराखेको छ र संसारमा ती मानिसहरूले कसले पढ्न आउँछ त्यो युनिभर्सिटीमा भन्ने कुरा सोच्दै थिए। तर आज 100 भन्दा बढी देशका मानिसहरू त्यहाँ चाहिँ नि पढ्न आउँछन् र 500 भन्दा बढी विद्यार्थीहरू चाहिँ नि हरेक साल मास्टर डिग्रीबाट ग्रेजुएसन गरेर जान्छन्। त्यसबाट हेर्नुहोस् हामीले आयुर्वेद पढाउन छाडिसक्यौँ अथवा मान्यता दिए जस्तो गर्छौँ तर महत्त्व दिएको छैन। त्यो महर्षि विश्वविद्यालयमा आयुर्वेदमा मास्टर्स गरेको विद्यार्थी अहिले यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ र त्यही युनिभर्सिटीको चाहिँ एउटा के अरे यहाँ चाहिँ नि उल्लेख गरिएको छ। अघि के अरे चाहिँ मित्रहरूले यसमा पनि सामान्य डाक्टर टोनी नेडर हुनुहुन्छ, ठुलो साइन्टिस्ट। उहाँ यहाँ आउनुभएको छ। डाक्टर के अरे हेगन, वेयर आर यू, क्यान यू स्ट्यान्ड? यस, इन द लास्ट डाक्टर हेगन भर्खर हिजो मात्रै उहाँ यहाँ आइपुग्नु भएको छ र उहाँले यहाँको आयुर्वेदमा लिड गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। पोखरामा हामी आयुर्वेदको ठुलो सेन्टर बनाउँदैछौँ, त्यसको एक्जिक्युटिभको रूपमा उहाँले काम गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँले फन्ड पनि जुटाउँदै हुनुहुन्छ। युनिभर्सिटीको के अरे डोनेसन पनि ल्याएर चाहिँ पोखरामा हामी एउटा चाहिँ विशिष्ट श्रेणीको आयुर्वेदिक पनि बनाउँदैछौँ, त्यसको लिडरसिप पनि उहाँले लिँदै हुनुहुन्छ। र म यति भनेर वैदिक नेपालको भविष्य भन्ने भिजन फर वैदिक नेपाल भन्ने विषयमा डाक्टर किङ्सली ब्रुकले आफ्नो प्रेजेन्टेसन गर्नुहुनेछ। धन्यवाद। जय सहकारी, जय नेपाल।
धन्यवाद। मेरो काम एकदमै छोटो बनाइदिइसक्नु भएको छ डाक्टर दीपक प्रकाश बास्कोटाले। आई वुड लाइक टु रिक्वेस्ट डाक्टर किङ्सली ब्रुक्स for the presentation. Dr. Kingsley Brooks अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय निर्देशक हुनुहुन्छ विश्व शान्ति राष्ट्र भन्ने गरिन्छ, ग्लोबल कन्ट्री अफ वर्ल्ड पिस, र उहाँले आजको प्रेजेन्टेसन अफ भिजन फर वैदिक नेपालको बारेमा गर्नुहुनेछ।
We'll start with the video. I can stand here. You can stand there. No, she needs that.
I need to use that. That's good. That's good. That's good.
But she should. Jai Gurudev. Namaste. We'd like to start with showing a very beautiful video, documentary, of Maharshi's visit to Nepal in November of 1974. So if we could see that video now. It's not so important. It's at 100%. I won't hear him speak.
Transcendental meditation, 1 in 100 for national strength. Transcendental meditation, 1 in 100 to lead the world. National strength in the folded world of life. Students, parents, teachers, working people, practice transcendental meditation. Just 15 minutes twice a day for yourself and for the nation. Transcendental meditation, 1 in 100 for national strength. Transcendental meditation, 1 in 100 to lead the world. The call to lead the world. The call to lead the world through transcendental meditation. Nepal will lead.
किताब शान्त कोही किताब
Nepal will lead the world. Nepal will lead the world.
नेपाल के राजगुरु नेपाल के राजगुरुदेव का आदेश लेकर इस वेदस्थली में नेपाल के राष्ट्र में आज अपना संदेश देते हुए हमें इतना हर्ष हो रहा है जिसका ठिकाना नहीं। पंद्रह 20 वर्षों से हम आध्यात्मिक आंदोलन का कार्य सारे विश्व में कर रहे हैं। आज जिस आनंद समुद्र का उत्थान हमारे हृदय में हो रहा है वो अवर्णनीय है। इस प्रकार हम उसका प्रदर्शन करें ये समझ में नहीं आता। नेपाल की पवित्र भूमि, यहाँ जो धार्मिक जीवन, वैदिक परंपरा का जो जीवन, यहाँ की जो राज्य सत्ता का धर्म पालन का उद्देश्य ये देश, यहाँ के प्रत्येक मनुष्य के द्वारा जीवन में आध्यात्मिक उत्थान का जो क्रम सबके दैनिक जीवन में स्थित है। कल हम आए थे, कल से सुन रहे हैं कि कितना धार्मिक जीवन है नेपाल में। वेद शास्त्र के अनुसार देवी देवताओं की पूजा नित्य घर में होती है। यहाँ के वृद्ध पितामह जैसे राजगुरुदेव अपनी सारी प्रजा को कितने सम्मान से धर्म के पथ पर चला रहे हैं। यहाँ के राजा अपने धर्मपाल की परंपरा को कितने सुगठित रूप से जनता के लाभ के लिए हमेशा दे रहे हैं। ये सब बातें सुन के नेपाल के संबंध में हमारे चित्त में एक ही बात आई है कि अब इस वेद भूमि से, अब इस धर्म भूमि से सतोगुण की लहर सारे विश्व में फैलेगी।
Jai Gurudev. Maharishi said like this: with the blessings of Raj Gurudev of Nepal, in this land of the Vedic, in the country of Nepal, today it is immense pleasure for me to bring my message. Since 15-20 years, I have been busy bringing spiritual regeneration to the whole world. Today, an undescribable ocean of bliss is rising in my heart, and it is very difficult to express it. Nepal is a pure land. People here live a life in alliance with natural law, a life in accordance with Vedic traditions. The royal administration of Nepal has a purpose to follow the Dharma. People in Nepal follow the Vedic routine of life. Impulses of natural law are lively in this country. Here the whole population lives life in the direction of spiritual evolution. I arrived here yesterday, and since then I have been observing how life here is lived in alliance with natural law. In Nepal, every home is always performing pujas as per tradition in Vedic scriptures. Highly revered Rajguru of Nepal is upholding the whole population on the path of Dharma. The Raja of Nepal is steadfastly engaged in the tradition of protection of Dharma for the benefit of whole population. With all these, I come to one conclusion about Nepal, that now from this land of Ved, the land of Dharma, waves of Sattva will spread all over the world.
Transcendental Meditation, Nepal will lead the world.
Did anyone recognize any family or friends in those old pictures from 1974?
So, can we go to the next slide? I wanted to give you a little context of one of the reasons why Maharshi visited Nepal at this particular time and the significance of it. Because he did a demonstration of one of the most powerful technologies that is written about in the Ved and the Vedic literature. At that time, in November of 1974, there was a great tension building between China and India. And Maharshi was concerned that it could bubble up and lead to some conflict. And so Maharshi applied the Vedic technology from the Vedic literature, which says, in the vicinity of yoga, hostile tendencies decrease. This is the quote from the Yoga Sutras. Tat sanidao virajityakar. In the vicinity of Yoga, unifying influence, conflict tendencies are unite to create a unified state of harmony where hostile tendencies decrease. What Maharshi did during his visit to Ratna Park and to here in Nepal was teach Transcendental Meditation to over 28,000 people in a very, very short time through using the latest technology. And this very powerful influences of many people experiencing the field, the transcendental field, the field of Atma, created a unifying influence that decreased the tension that was rising in the world at that time. Maharshi has used this technology many times. Here we see what Maharshi calls a unified field chart of physics, which shows the different layers of the physical creation. We see the classical level, surface level, the quantum mechanical level, and the quantum field level, and then the level of the unified field. The whole of material creation is connected from the level of the unified field. Even in the objective creation, this is what's been found now by modern science. But what Maharshi understood, and what has been understood by the ancient Vedic seers of the holy tradition, is that parallel to the material world is the subjective world. There are different layers of the mind that we can experience through Transcendental Meditation. And we can experience that unified field of consciousness that is the same unified field that underlies all of physical creation. And by having the experience of that, we enliven the qualities of the unified field, which is peace, harmony, happiness, and unification. And this influence is spread wherever people practice Transcendental Meditation. To give an example of this, a show of brief video. Here we see a tree, but we know that the nourishment and the health of the tree comes from its roots. Oops. Go back. That's not working. There it is. We'll go on. Anyway, what this shows is that a tree gets all of its nourishment from the roots. And if we're disconnected from the root, that tree, what happens to the tree? It begins to shrivel up, and the leaves begin to fall off. The fruits do not come. But if we can maintain and nourish the tree from its roots, then spontaneously the tree becomes healthy, vibrant, and great. And just like this, the human nervous system has to be connected, has to maintain its connection to that field of nourishment which is within each and every one of us. What disconnects us from that field is stress and strain in the nervous system. And Transcendental Meditation, Bhavati Dhyan, is a simple mental technique that allows us to experience these deeper and deeper and deeper levels of the mind, and to experience the source of thought, the unified field of natural law, which is that same field that underlies and supports all of creation. And so by contacting that is how we create this unifying influence. And this unified field of natural law is also where the Veda exists. Veda does not exist in the books. Veda exists in the human physiology, deep within the mind, in the transcendental field. This verse from Rig Veda illustrates this. Riksho akshare parme vyoman, yasmin deva adivishve nishadu. The verses of the Veda exist in the transcendental field of life, in which also reside all of the impulses of creative intelligence, the laws of nature, responsible for the whole universe. So when we experience that field in our daily practice of transcendental meditation, we enliven the Devata. We enliven the unified field of natural law to support and nourish all of life. The second part of that quote is Yastana Veda Kimricha Karishyati Ya Itad Vidu Ta Ime Samasate. He whose awareness is not open to this field, what can the verses do for him, accomplish for him? Those who know this level of reality are established in evenness, wholeness of life. This one verse of Rig Veda illustrates the importance of why every individual who cares about Veda and Vedic knowledge must transcend on a daily basis, because it is the field of Veda. It is where all of the impulses of creative intelligence responsible for the whole manifest world exist. The Veda is the blueprint of creation. It is the structuring intelligence of creation. And by knowing that, by experiencing that, through Bhagavati Dhyan, Transcendental Meditation, we enliven all of that to support not only us as an individual, but to radiate that to all society. Because as a society, as a nation, as a country, we make up the mind of the country, the collective consciousness of the country. And when we, as an individual, can enliven that on an individual level, collectively, when we practice together Bhagavati Dhyan, Transcendental Meditation, we can create a peaceful, unifying influence in our environment. This is the essence of Maharshi's knowledge. And he gives us a tool for us to transform our life today from life of suffering to heaven on earth. You may have heard, those of you who understand English, in the song that was being sung over and over again. Through 1% of the population practicing transcendental meditation, Nepal will lead the world and create an influence of peace and harmony for the whole environment and the whole world. But later on, towards the end of the 1970s, Maharshi brought out a new technology, even more powerful, and even more simple. And that is the practice of TM and the TM Siddhi program, including yogic flying, where it doesn't take 1% of the population, but only the square root of 1% of the population, practicing in one place to create this influence of yoga. This influence that we see in the Yoga Sutras. In the vicinity of yoga, hostile tendencies and prosperity begin to be found. And so this is the technology that we are now implementing here in Nepal. Another big contribution to the field and the understanding of the Vedic knowledge is how Maharshi revived the ancient Vedic knowledge. You all know more about Vedic knowledge probably than I do. But the unique thing that Maharshi His Holiness Maharshi Mesh Yogi, always regarded as the foremost scientist in the field of consciousness and the greatest teacher of our time. Maharshi completely restored the 1,000-year-old scattered Vedic literature for the total significance of its theory and practice, and has organized it in the form of a complete science of consciousness. Transcendental meditation is the subjective technology of Maharshi's Vedic science of consciousness, and Maharshi Vedic science and technology is the complete science and technology of consciousness, and it is the complete science and technology of life capable of raising all aspects of life to enlightenment. And now to give a vision of how Maharshi brought out in every area of society his knowledge and technology of Vedic science. Play this video. What this video is depicting is, you all are very familiar with the Rudrabhishek Yagya, but what is being here is being performed by about 2,000 of Maharshi's Vedic Pundits, who not only are Vedic Pundits, but what makes them Maharshi Vedic Pundits is they all practice Transcendental Meditation and Bhavati Dhyan, and also the TM and TM City program. And this gives Yagya power to fulfill the Sankalp without transcending and performance from the level of the unified field. Our activities, including Yagya, are weak. This is why Krishna said to Arjuna on the battlefield, on the Bhagavad Gita, he said, Yogastha Kuru Karmani to Arjuna. Established in being, perform action. Established in the unified field of natural law. Established in the self, the big yes self, Atma. Then perform action. This is why every pundit must be performing when they, after the practice of Bhavati Dhyan and the TM and TM City program, because it gives the power to the Yagya. Maharshi used an analogy to illustrate this. Skill in action. If you were to take an arrow and you wanted to hit the target, and you tried to throw that arrow like that to hit the target, it would fall maybe a few meters to the ground and miss the target. But if you were to pull the arrow back in the other direction on a bow and let it flies and hit the target. This analogy illustrates the importance of Bhavati Dhyan Transcendental in every individual. Then come out and perform action. And with that we have the effectiveness of skill in action to hit the target, to fulfill the Sankalp, the intention of the Yagya. This is why it's critical that every Vedic Pundit practices Bhavatikyan, Transcendental Meditation, and the TM City program. But you all also should be performing that for success in your own individual life. This is how you will fulfill your own individual desires in harmony with natural law. This Vedic technology has been applied across the globe. This power of utilizing the infinite reservoir of energy intelligence within. This picture here is of Joaquim Albert Chissano, the former president of the Republic of Mozambique. During a time of civil war in his country, he called upon His Holiness Maharshi Mass Yogi to come and help him, to help pacify the revolution that was taking place in his country. And he implemented, having many of his military and his police begin the practice of Transcendental Meditation and the TM City program. And very quickly, the whole civil war that was going on in there was transformed into peace and progress. And he was given an award for what he did in his country to transform the quality of life of his country. Unfortunately, the next president came and didn't understand what had happened, and they discontinued the practice, but it was a strong demonstration of the power, how this technology can change the country. And this is why Maharshi said Nepal could lead the world, because Nepal can understand the power of Vedic knowledge. They live the power of Vedic knowledge. We just need to implement it fully. We need to convince either our government or the wealthy people of Nepal to create groups of yogic flyers practicing TM and TM City program together. Now I want to give you an example of this Vedic technologies applied in different areas throughout the world. Here we see in the field of education. Just as a summary, around the world now, there are 500 educational institutes in 60 countries with over 1 million students practicing Transcendental Meditation and applying consciousness-based education in their schools. There are universities in Thailand, and we have physical universities in Thailand, USA, Thailand, India, South Africa, Norway. And the outcomes from implementing this technology, consciousness-based education in the schools, is phenomenal. And you have to realize education is where we're creating the new leaders of our country. But we can't just ram more information into the students. We need to expand the container of knowledge, to unfold the creative genius of all of our students. This is what Transcendental Meditation and the practice of the TM City program does to the students. At the same time, they're creating an influence of peace in their school. They're also unfolding their full mental potential. These are just some of the many schools all around the world that are implementing consciousness-based education in their schools. Just to give you a flavor, all over the world. And now I'd like to show you the flagship campus that Maharshi created in the United States. This is Maharshi International University in Fairfield, Iowa, which is accredited by the North Central Association of Colleges and Schools to offer degrees from kindergarten all the way through PhD. It's celebrated just recently its 50-year anniversary, now has over 10,000 graduates, and it's on a 370-acre campus, has 45 buildings, and a very strong MIU and TM community with over 10,000 people. You can just click through some of the pictures. This shows the whole village. You can see in the lower right-hand corner that are all people who have come to Fairfield to practice TM and the TM City program together to create a positive influence. And this is the main Argyro Center, the student union, the central bank, the building of the campus. The whole campus is built according to Maharshi Sthapatya Ved, Vastu Vidya. And you can see in the front there a Vedic observatory. Maharshi revived the ancient observatories of how to study the whole cosmos. And so these are just some more aerial shots. You can go quickly over these. This is a sustainable living building. This is a sustainable living building where new sustainable practices for the whole world are being developed and demonstrated. just some more pictures of the campus. These are the golden domes of pure knowledge, where every day all of the faculty, the students, and the staff, and community members come together and practice Transcendental Meditation and the TM City program together to create an influence of peace. There's another picture of the two domes. And this is one of the new buildings just north of campus where many of our computer science program students come. Nepal is what I think the second leading country, international country, that has sent students to the programs that Maharshi International University offers. Madhav Aryal, are you here? Madhav could stand. He is our representative from Maharshi International University, and he's also a teacher of Transcendental Meditation. How many students have you sent to MIU? Over 1,000 students have gone and participated in the master's degree programs in computer science and in MBA program. And the computer science program in the United States at Maharshi International University is the #2 computer science program in the whole country. There's only one other university that has a bigger turnover. So we can go on to the next. This is a little bit. So why is it that this practice of TM and the TM City program in particular is so important? It's because there's been scientific research shows that the maximum brainwave coherence comes during the practice of yogic flying. And with this coherence on an individual level, when they practice together, this coherence or harmony and peace radiates to the environment. This flying technique that Maharshi brought was very, very powerful technology of the unified field to enliven peace and harmony for the world. Nepal can change overnight if we establish a group of the square root of 1% of the population doing this technology very regularly. Not sometimes and sometimes not. And this practice requires practice, not talking about it. This is a technology that Maharshi brought out. You can go to the next slide. And another area where Maharshi brought out new knowledge is in the area of architecture. Our buildings can create a huge influence on not only our individual life as we move and live in a building, it also has a creation on the effect on society. And these are just some of the buildings now all around the world that have been built according to Maharshi's Tapacha Ved. And this campus at Champadevi, the Brahmananda Saraswati Nagar campus, was completely built according to Maharshi's Tapacha Ved. This on the lower right is one of the largest office buildings in the Washington, D.C. area, built by the chairman of the board of Maharshi International University. It's called the Tower Building. And it's just an amazing building. When you go in and you sit and work in that building, you feel the influence of Maharshi Vastu. Next. This is just to summarize how much this Vastu Vidya architecture has been done. Over $500 million worth of Maharshi Vastu buildings have been built around the world in almost every country except for parts of Africa and Siberia. Go ahead.
We just wanted to also highlight the Maharshi power of invisibility. Before Maharshi dropped his body in 2008, he said for everyone who was there, I want to be sure that all of my technologies have a home. And so he asked everyone who was there, he said, I want to build these Maharshi powers of invisibility in every country. I want them to serve as a lighthouse of total knowledge, reminding mankind that life can be lived in enlightenment, and that suffering, disease, and poverty are actually foreign to life. So in this building, and we hope to build one here in Kathmandu, in this building, all of the Vedic technologies and all of Maharishi's programs will be available to anyone across the world. And it will preserve them for 10,000 years. And this is just an example. In every floor, there will be one area. The first floor will be education. It will remind everyone how to mine their full brain potential. so learning will be easy and fun. In the area of health, you will learn all the principles of Ayurveda and all the principles to prevent yourself from getting sick. Imagine if you knew how to not get sick and to be strong and healthy. This is healthcare. Right now we have disease care. We need a healthcare system. There will be another floor completely focusing on Vedic organic agriculture. It will teach farmers how to nourish themselves and their crops in the whole environment. And economics. The whole field of economics is basically a problem of poor brainwave coherence. It's a matter of poor consciousness. If we improve our own intelligence and our own consciousness, that is where wealth comes from. So by awakening our inner intelligence, we'll awaken all the resources around us, and everyone can enjoy abundance and prosperity. And the level of defense, Rajneesh already mentioned this, when a certain number of people are practicing Transcendental Meditation and its advanced programs, the influence of coherence and harmony in society is so powerful that there can never be the birth of an enemy. Literally, it's a Rashtriya Kavach. You are protected by a shield of coherence. So this is why we are very focused, along with Deepak Dasota, to create these coherence-creating groups in Nepal. Religion and culture, again, when harmony dominates, the differences are secondary, and so there are less problems with differences in culture and religion.
Just to add to this, because Nepal is such a diversity of many different cultures, and it's important to understand that Veda is not something that is particularly owned by one religion or one culture. It is universal. Just like gravity is the law of nature, and we don't consider gravity to be only for people from England. It's a knowledge. It's knowledge of a law of nature. And Veda is, actually when you translate Veda into English, it means knowledge. And knowledge for everyone. And this is what Maharshi brought to the world, a knowledge. And when we begin to implement the technologies of Veda in the Vedic literature, what we find is every religion in every culture becomes stronger, but on the bed of unity. Just like when you begin to water the root of a garden that has red roses, carnations, lilies, all different kinds of flowers. When you nourish the root value, you fertilize the root, the rose becomes a better rose. The carnation becomes a better carnation. We nourish the differences on the ground of the unified field of natural law.
Level of politics, coherence creating groups will help managing all the infinite diversity for our government administration. And now for a vision for Vedic Nepal.
I just want to give you an overview of all of the fantastic work that Dr. Deepak Dasota is doing in Nepal. Because on this day when we're honoring him, you should see what he has accomplished here already in Nepal. Deepak has already been awarded a PhD honorary degree from Maharshi International University for his work here in Nepal. And also Dr. Tony Nader, who is the head of the organization now, honored Dr. Deepak Dasota with the Medal of Invincibility for his work here in Nepal. We're very fortunate to have such an incredible leader who has seen the vision of Maharshi and is daily, day in and day out, working to accomplish it. Now we have almost 88 gurukuls that have implemented Maharshi's Pandit curriculum. And this represents approximately 3,000 student pundits. And from these 3,000, many are practicing the yogic flying technique. And the plan is to expand to over 250 gurukuls and have over 9,000 yogic flying Vedic pundits doing Rudravishek Yaga daily in the schools, in these gurukul schools all over Nepal. Currently, Nepal has 121 groups of 11 pundits performing Rudravishek Yagya daily. This is 1,331 pundits, which makes for an Ati Rudravishek. This map shows where all of the gurukuls are all across Nepal currently, and we're currently always adding on more. These are some of the pictures of the gurukuls that are practicing Maharishi's technologies of the unified field. And every morning at 6:30, we connect up with all of these gurukuls via video Zoom conferencing. And we watch them in the practice of their Ati Rudravishek Yagya on a daily basis. And this so that we can maintain good quality control. Also, for the senior pundits, we have over 200 Maharshi Vedic pundits who are performing personal yagyas for clients from the global country of world peace from all over the world. And this is how partially we are supporting all of the activities that are taking place here in Nepal are through the support of people doing yagyas from Nepal, from our Vedic pundits here in Nepal. And they particularly like having their yagyas done here in Nepal. And this is a great future. We need to expand this greatly so that we can bring more support to Nepal. And these are just some of the pictures as you go through of all of the activities that are going on and of our groups of pundits in the different locations. And these are some of the Maharshi Vastu buildings that have been built. This is the Dang Jyotish Mati Vidyapith School in Dang. This is the Tilangatar Government School. And this is our administrative offices here in Kathmandu. And you all have seen this picture of our campus, the Brahmananda Saraswati Nagar campus. Has beautiful views of the mountains. And this is a rendering of the proposed campus in Jhapa, the eastern district of Nepal. And this is a rendering of the Maharshi Ayurveda Health Center that is being proposed, and we've already signed the contract to start construction in Pokhara. And this will be a showcase for all of the work that's going on here and be a place for international guests to come and experience the great environment here in Nepal. So this is in the area of what we've been doing for consciousness-based education. We now have 10 schools with a total enrollment of almost 10,000 students that are in the various stages of implementing CBE. 4,000 students are practicing Transcendental Meditation. And as of May 2022, 1,000 of the faculty and students have learned the TM City program. And these are just some of the pictures of the courses that we've held here to train the faculty and the staff of the different schools. Here's Dr. Ashley Deans, our leading expert in consciousness-based education, presenting a certificate to the former Vice Chancellor of Nepal Sanskrit University. And here are some of the students. We're also very blessed to have Bolinath Yogi and Chittamani Yogi, who their Hindu Vidyapith schools are beginning to start an implementation of consciousness-based education. And these are just many of the schools all around Nepal that have implemented consciousness-based education. Also in the area of Vedic organic agriculture, agriculture in harmony with total natural law, the holistic system of agriculture that nourishes and supports the farmer, his crops, and the greater environment in a sustainable way. Vedic recitations to enhance the food's nutritional and energizing properties. And here's a picture of our beginning of our training of the farmers. And here a picture of our first crops that are coming up nearby Champadevi, our Camp Brahmananda Saraswati campus. And here is a performance. And what the Vedic organic agriculture technology is that special recitations are performed during the different stages of the growth of the plant. And for the special transitional stages to provide more nutritional value. Here we have the harvesting. And here is just a quick little of our pundits doing the yagya in the field. So, to end, Nepal is in the best position to apply technologies in all areas of life. Nepal can be a source an exporter of Vedic pundits, Vedic organic food, products and herbs, Stapatis, Vedic architects, Vedic doctors and technicians. The world is looking for solutions, and Nepal can provide those solutions. So instead of exporting labor and wasting your incredible inherited tradition, let's make Nepal lead the world in the area of new knowledge, this knowledge of the technology of the unified field of natural law, which is your birthright and your tradition. It's a great, this is a quote from Maharshi just before he left. It is a great work that has developed that a few people practicing yogic flying and the world will be spontaneously in terms of harmony. Harmony in the world, harmony in the world. Throughout the globe there will be no ups and downs. The world will ever be in peace, harmony, happiness, invincibility. All glory to Gurudev. No end to the waves of bliss.
This was something Maharshi was talking about. It's the descent of wrong knowledge of heaven on earth. He said during the reign of Rama, the people were exceedingly happy. They were content, fulfilled, and lived in accord with Dharma. They were free from sickness, free from disease, and bereft of famine and fear. Happiness was universal, and everyone was established in Dharma. People did not harm each other. The trees were always filled with fruit and flowers, and the rains came according to desire, and the winds were pleasant to touch. The skies were clear, and the cities and provinces were in abundance of food, and filled with happy, fulfilled citizens.
To end, I would like to give my great gratitude to Dr. Deepak Vaskota, who, in his simple, innocent way, heard Maharshi's message and has been tirelessly working for many years to just bring this technology to Nepal, to make it available. And I feel that he is the one individual that can fulfill Maharshi's vision for Nepal, that Nepal can lead the world. I hope that you will all band behind him and join him